God, I'm such a millennial because even though it has nothing to do with the fucking title, I just saw this is, and I was like, this is how we do it.
Yes.
I mean, it is Friday night.
Yeah,
It is
and I'm
Friday
feeling
night.
all right.
It's Friday. No.
We should probably start referencing that more often until people hate it.
Until they call us out and leave us bad reviews. Hey, welcome to the Challenge Fandom podcast. My name's Rick. This is my beautiful wife, Karina. We've got Alexis, Tex, Rawson, and Josh motherfucking Chambers in the house. And we're going to be breaking down episode 10 of All Stars 5 Rivals. This is why we're rivals. I don't know why I said it like that, but it felt right. Anyways.
Yeah, that was very theatrical.
It's what I'm here for.
It also made me like the title more.
It did. It's really on the delivery, I think. You know, they should get the guy from Law and Order, like, you know, created by Dick.
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
The SVU.
Dun, dun, dun.
The SVU voice.
Dun, dun.
No, actually, I will give this title credit because I actually felt like, first of all, it's not the worst title, you know? And second of all, I felt like it actually really matched what was happening in the episode and what the central focus of episode 10 was about. So I will give them a little.
It worked. It worked.
Little props.
Look,
little baby props.
It's going to be one of my, it's one of the highlights. I mean, I have some complaints. We're back to the old challenge. So saw some shit, but we'll save that for episode 11.
Yep.
Anyways, let's jump right into this. So this is, you know, we've got 5 teams left. We've got Shane and Devon, Steve and Adam, Frank and Sam, Tony, Turbo and Nany, and then what's the one? Nicole and Melissa. Team subtitles. We have one final daily. Now, I want to know, first of all, before I dive into the actual question that we're getting into, what do you guys think of this daily? I actually really liked it, where they had to go from checkpoint to checkpoint and add extra pieces.
The toilet paper one, where Adam was like, if this sounds easy to you, just go get 10 rolls of toilet paper and try to do this. I was like, actually, that kind of sounds like fun.
Video
we have
tomorrow.
enough toilet paper. We go to Costco.
We have so much fucking toilet paper in this house right now.
We go 20 rolls.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you should give it a try.
I liked this one. I actually thought that this daily, it looked like fun to me. Like I said, I would totally like have fun doing something something stupid like this. But I also feel like it exposed a lot in the teams about how they work together and what their strengths and weaknesses are, you know, which
100%.
we see again in episode 11 when they start the finals.
Oh, yeah, 100%. It exposed a lot. One, I don't think this looks fun at all. It looks aggravating. It looks like something I could do, but it looks like I would be pissed off after the second checkpoint. Like,
you just have to be smart with it,
You got to pop up.
You got to pop up, Shane.
You got to pop up.
Why are you got to do something.
You got to do something. You can't just lay there.
You got to pop up.
Can't hold your hands on the ground.
Like, and that was my thing, is it's like, if you really think about it, right? Like, think about what you're doing logically. It's not that hard.
No.
Use your fucking body. Like, why is everybody like trying to hold it out here and down here and all this stuff, all this crazy stuff? I was like, what is happening right now? And then you've got like the 3 smart teams who have got it like pressed up against their bodies and using their body weight to push that shit together and walk. Like, it's not that, I don't know. It looked fun to me because it doesn't look that difficult. And maybe, you know, I'm sure it's harder than it looks. I get it. But I still don't think, I think a lot of the teams were making it way harder on themselves than it actually was because of the way that they were doing it.
They were trying to overcompensate for the height difference too.
Yeah.
On 2 of the teams at least.
For sure. And I think a lot of it broke down to team communication, because the teams with decent communication and that can work together and take instruction together typically do better on a daily like this.
That's true.
And I think it played to that. Mm-hmm. Speaking of team members getting along, let's get into the first question. Do you guys think Shane was out of line in the way he treated Devon during this daily? Or do you think editing exaggerated the tension to create more drama?
I don't really think he was that mean to her. I feel like he's been meaner to her in the past.
I would agree with that statement.
I mean, did he even cuss?
Not that we heard.
No, he yelled. He yelled aggressively.
Okay. Well, I feel like Shane's natural state of talking is like intense, like so intense that he has a vein popping out of his forehead. So it could have just been his own heightened normal voice.
I've heard Jordan do worse.
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of people.
Yeah, I don't think it was that bad. I think it was just the height of the fact that he wasn't listening or waiting for a response, maybe. But the other part, it was just during the competition.
I mean, here's my thing. I can see it from both sides, but I might steal a little bit of your thunder on this one. When production has to rewind the tapes on you in the same fucking episode to show what you're doing, I think it kind of proves a point. Like, yeah,
Okay,
there's
good point.
editing, but they literally just like Shane saying exactly what he said he didn't say going into the rest of the episode. So
I think I might need that in my life.
yeah. For real,
Sometimes I feel a little like Shane in this moment. Like, no, I didn't say that.
I would never say anything like that.
He was really about that too, because he like put up a post on Instagram and everything saying like taking a poll from the fans asking if there was a difference in how they treated and spoke to each other, you know. And my thing is like, I don't necessarily think that like Shane was, I'm trying to think, I don't necessarily know if it was like out of line from what we saw. Okay, first of all, I just want to say from what we saw, because what really throws me off is Devon's not a softie, right? Like, she's not like someone who like we just see like cry over all kinds of stuff. But at the end of the day, when they're standing on the risers, she's fucking bawling. Mm-hmm. And that's when Adam is talking about, Shane being condescending and demeaning towards her. So I'm wondering if there was any part of the situation that we didn't see on the episode, which I'm sure that there was. You know what I mean? There, obviously, we didn't see everything that happened. But I think that that's really what it was, is like, for me, he just felt very dismissive towards her, whereas she kind of like the tone and her body language and stuff, like it felt like she was really trying to like stay calm under the pressure and work together, whereas like it felt like he snapped from the start. And I get that that is like kind of an aspect of his personality, but it just doesn't lend itself well when you have to work with somebody, especially with a rival, you know, and it's going to look bad. My biggest issue is, even just giving him the benefit of the doubt about, editing definitely plays a part, because we know that they are the biggest pot stirrers in the entire show. And giving him the benefit of the doubt for the situation and his own, kind of personality. The thing that got me is like, there was like no accountability taken from Shane until after all these things that happened, after Adam had to say something, after Devon broke down, after he, went through the whole stupid thing of trying to quit or, pretending to quit, or I don't even know, like whatever that was, it took all these things for him to finally say, hey, you know what? Maybe I was a little bit too much. Like, there was just felt like there wasn't any real accountability there. It was like forced, like almost like he was forced into that situation. And that was my biggest problem with how the situation worked with them for this daily.
Okay.
Mic on.
Yeah. Whoops. Here's my thing is like, I truly see it as a tale of two sides, kind of like in the defense of Shane. Was it out of character? Was it out of line? Was it out of, was it abusive? I don't think so. I think it was a high stress environment. They already walked in with preconceived notions that they weren't going to work with each other well, both sides of them. Mm-hmm. Devon has a very strong personality, just like Shane does. They're literally oil and water, especially when it comes to working in this situation.
True.
And I think a big thing to look at is, was it malicious or was it messy? Mm. And to me, it was messy. It wasn't malicious. It wasn't like he was trying to tear her down. With that being said, because production is the biggest shit stirs, how much of it is an edit and how much of it are we not seeing because we caught bits and pieces of Adam having to join in? And that's where I start siding with Devon. When a third party kicks in and starts intervening, then something has escalated that we haven't seen.
I was actually just going to ask, like, do you guys ever notice, like, if that happens for you, you know, when like you're watching a situation happen, but then all of a sudden a third party steps in. Like, I'm one of those where I'll immediately pick a side when that third party steps in. I'm like, oh, okay, that's because it's his, hers, and the truth, right? Like, that's how it, like, that's how it's presented in the show. And so it's like, oh, I'm going with this one because whatever this person's saying is probably most likely the closest to the truth anyway. And I don't necessarily think that that's always true, because, you know, these people do have relationships and friendships, but it is kind of just weird to me how that happens.
I agree. I think it's super interesting. I mean, at the end of the day, at the end of the episode, we see them sit there and talk, and they come up with some safe words. They make up. They agree to work through this. Do I think they're going to be inviting each other over for Christmas dinner? Probably not.
Especially after seeing episode 11.
Yeah. What y'all gonna eat when you first get out?
I don't know, man. Savage.
Fucking rough.
Fucking savage.
All right.
Oh my God.
So at the end of this daily, I want to ask you guys about this. Was Shane's reaction to Adam touching him just justified? Was it like an overreaction that kind of already led into an unstable dynamic in the house with Shane? Or do you think he was just too worked up at the end of the day?
I mean, if I'm hot and I'm sweaty, I don't want anybody touching me. But I don't think what Adam did was out of line. I think he was just trying to get his attention. And like Adam said, he looked like he was about to take a step off the back of the platform. So if that's really the case, I mean, come on. I think Shane just overreacted, and then he needed a break, like TJ said.
Yeah, I'm glad they gave that to him.
I didn't realize that Adam said that he was going to fall off the back.
Yeah, he said he was kind of like staggering. He was like, you're kind of like, you looked like you were going to fall off the back. Like, I didn't want you to fall. And
I don't know if I necessarily believe that, but
Shane, quick trust fall.
Yeah, I mean, coincidentally.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. I wouldn't want somebody to be touching me out there after I'm already pissed off. Like, the last thing I want somebody to do is be like, oh, or like just touch me at all. Like I'm
even more fucking mad.
Look, unless your name is TJ, don't fucking talk to me, all right? Like, I'm trying to catch my breath.
I was literally about to say, forget touching me. Don't fucking talk to me if I'm pissed off. Like, it's one of those, even something small. If I stub my toe and I scream out, ow, in the house, and then he's like, what happened? I'm like, shut the fuck up. Just let me writhe in my pain, okay? And just leave me the fuck alone for a second while I breathe through this shit, okay? I'm fine.
So we're all agreeing that we would have acted just like Shane.
Yeah,
in that situation.
But I do agree with you though, Josh. I don't necessarily think that like Adam did anything wrong from what was presented.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if Adam is embellishing the story a little bit so he doesn't look like such a dick or whatever. I don't know. And not even saying that he would look like a dick, you know, but if what happened is how Adam painted it, I don't think that like he did anything wrong. But I probably would have gotten pissed off too. Like I would have been just as mad.
Okay, we're all on the same page on this with Shane. Is like, if I'm hot and I've been running and I'm sweaty and it's Vietnam and it's 95 degrees with 95% humidity, don't fucking touch me.
And he already was pissed off too. Like, and that's the thing. Like, it wasn't like he had a great daily with Devon. It wasn't like he's been performing well. It wasn't like, you know, this is the final daily. He's trying to protect his star. Like, there's so much pressure in this moment.
Yeah.
You know, so, and then he's fighting with his partner on top of it. She's standing next to him, bawling her fucking eyes out. And he's pissed off because in his eyes, she's villainizing him, right? And the cast and production and the edit and everything is feeding into that story as well. So, you know, I see where like his frustration came from. And, you know, I can't be fake and pretend like I wouldn't fucking get pissed too.
My only counter to that is how many seasons have we seen of Shane?
I don't know.
Has his character ever changed since this? So, I mean, at a certain point, you are who you are, bro.
Yeah,
yeah.
Just own that shit.
what
You
it
are
is.
the villain, and we love you for it because you make shit happen. It makes it interesting. Like
Exactly.
the double cross on fucking getting Nelson to cross Corey. That was fucking genius.
It really was. And honestly, like I had an argument with a fan the other day on like Instagram or something like that in the comments because they were like, said something about like Frank and Sam and Shane and Devon, like all these people named off like half the fucking finalists was like, didn't even deserve to be on this season to start with. And I was like, could you imagine how fucking boring this season would have been without Frank, without Shane,
what the fuck?
without
Why would anybody say
Veronica?
that?
Why even have the
Literally,
show?
Yeah, like at that point, just go watch sports. Like, I'm sorry, if you want just physical competition, go watch sports. There's a ton to choose from. Okay, like
Yeah.
you can even pick favorites, and then there's like favorite teams, and then you can even have favorite players too. Like it goes deep. Okay, like go have fun over there. Let us enjoy the social stuff, And that was one of the things. Like I got so many messages. People didn't like All Stars 5. What?
Huh?
It was boring.
It's been
Boring.
so good.
Oh,
The fandom says that about every season, though. I mean, be realistic, especially in the last 5 or 6 years or seasons. But I mean, this season is not boring. I mean, we're talking about it. There's drama. There's excitement. I mean, come on.
Could be way worse.
Could be.
And that's my theme is like every episode has it's built up. It was Kellyanne and Sylvia. And then next it was Ashley and Anissa. And then it was, Veronica. And then, so on and so forth. And it's just built up. And I think we got some of that in the final too. Like it's everything that I wanted in a challenge season. With that being said, I agree. It's for the last like 6 years, it's been like, oh, this season sucked, blah, blah. But if you go back and look, 36, actually not that bad of a season, even in quarantine and double agents.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Spies, Lies, it's just a masterful gameplay by the vets, getting rid of the rookies right off top and then running it themselves. I think 39 is a phenomenal season with no fucking champs. I love that season, but people fucking hate on it. And it is what it is.
Sometimes things do need like time to breathe too. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
But it just threw me off because, this is old school challenge. This is OG challenge, what everybody's been screaming at the top of their lungs that they want. And then we actually get it. We actually get a cast that gives us old school challenge. And it's boring.
Like, oh my God, we're going to get into it, but
They don't know what they really want.
Yeah, I didn't mean to hijack your question.
No.
My brain was just rolling and I was like,
because as soon as you said that, I started thinking about the elimination. But anyways, let's move on.
Yeah.
Get there.
Am I the only one that think, let me actually, you know what? I don't want to bias your answer. So I'm going to ask this a different way.
Yeah.
Did Nany and Turbo make the right move volunteering for elimination? Or did they risk everything for a star that they might have gotten another way?
Oh, you guys are going to change my answer.
Nany and Turbo are fucking stupid. That's all I'm going to say.
You think they would have gotten a star?
They absolutely would have, because if you send 2 star people in, there's a star left over when one goes home. The only person it could go to is Nany and Turbo. They get one for free. Why the fuck would you volunteer for elimination? I would be hiding in the corner, hoping.
But has anybody gotten a star after eliminations?
What are they going to do with that extra star? They have no more dailies. There's nothing left to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they're not going to take 3 people to the final.
They have to take 4 teams. So there's a star there. They have no more dailies to give it out at. So it's automatically going to go to the team that doesn't have a star to go to, that's still here. That doesn't have,
Nany would think of that.
I was shocked. I was like, why are they doing this? Like, that does not seem smart at all.
Yeah, if they wouldn't have played that card so hard, I think the House would have voted to keep them out of it, thinking that if they don't have a star to go in, and then at the end they have to give a star up, and then they'd end up getting it. So, I mean, yeah, I would have just let whatever happen, and then go from there. They still probably could have been there.
See, me who's never played this game is like, oh yeah, this is what's best. And then you get your chance to fight in elimination for one. But Nany, who's played the game like 15 times should have known that.
I do want to say, though,
Oh, no, go ahead.
I do want to say I feel like we were partially misled with the edit, just based off of one little thing that Adam says when they're actually at the nomination little circle thing, tent thing, is that mine?
Oh, it's a dog.
That's our dog snoring. So Adam says, I respect people who want to go in and actually earn their stars, so I'll give my vote to Nany and Turbo. So I think maybe they like pulled the, oh, we want to earn it. Let us go in and try to earn it back. And we just didn't get fed that story. We got fed the just send us in. We want to go in, So that's a possibility as well that I've thought of, but that's just based on just that one sentence that Adam said. So
here's my thing. Rule number 1 of the challenge: never volunteer to go in.
Yeah,
never.
That's true.
With that being said, do I think they were going in regardless? Yes, because even if the House voted Adam and Steve, trying to get them out, Frank and Sam were going to vote Nany and Turbo because they did not want them in a final.
Exactly.
So it was going to happen, I think, regardless. I think the way it did happen created more drama when it came to the House or to the winner's vote.
I agree.
And that kind of leads me into this next one. Do we think Frank and Sam did a good job for throwing Adam and Steve in? Or do you think they fucked up going behind on their deal?
It's too late in the game to be having deals.
He was going to go back on a deal either way.
I mean, if going back on a deal is going to get you into the final, like there's no more time in between, I'm gonna pull a Devin and say that the deal's expired.
He took a last chance opportunity to get the toughest team out.
No, I agree. I don't think that there was anything wrong with what Frank and Sam did. I actually enjoyed the move thoroughly. I thought that it created some like really good tension for the end of the season and heading into the final, which obviously we saw actually affected the final, which we'll talk about when we get into episode 11. But I actually like, my big thing is always just make the fucking big move. Make the move. If you're going to take somebody to a final that you're going to lose against, you're stupid. Like, you're stupid. That's it. That's all I got to say about that. So the fact, and Frank has been saying it all season that he was going after Adam and Steve, regardless of how Veronica felt, regardless of whatever, and so he got his opportunity and he took his shot. Now he missed, but I can respect the move at least, especially at the very end of the game. In my opinion, like you get to a certain part of the game and deals are off. At that point, you have to start working for yourself, like, and not for whatever deals you made a week or 2 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago or whatever. No,
I agree. Here's my thing is rule number 2, lie, So
I mean, shit, episode 1, wasn't it like episode 1 where like Frank was like sitting by the pool, I think with like Bamber or something, and he's like smiling with her, and then it goes to his confessional and he's like, I'm just telling these people whatever the fuck they want, but I don't care about any of you. I am just here to win the money.
Look, I really like Adam. And I think he has made this season in certain ways. I know there's been a lot of people that have helped, but he has put some work in.
Yeah.
And he put some work in this episode too, and I'm going to talk about that, but you should know what the fucking deal is when the first 4 episodes, Frank and Sam let it off with Adam and Steve, Adam and Steve, Adam and Steve, Adam and Steve.
Yeah.
4 times in a row.
Yeah.
You should have fucking known.
Yeah. That's a really good point. I totally forget that they voted Adam and Steve for the first 4 eliminations. Like they were part of the vote.
I'm just going to say it sounds like our dog needs a sleep apnea mask.
She's sleeping hard. We had friends over this evening and they have kids. And so she had our kids and their kids to play with. And she was so friggin' excited.
Yeah.
She just passed out.
Yeah, she's a tired girl. All right. So getting into this elimination, obviously Frank and Sam win the daily. House vote is for Nany and Turbo. Frank and Sam double cross. Adam and Steve throw them in. So we're getting Adam and Steve and Nany and Turbo against each other.
Yeah.
And then we find out this elimination is basically play I don't know, poker or, fucking bluff, who's got a star and doesn't in their fucking glove box. I don't know.
Jesus criminy.
What is this shit? Like, who thought this would be a good idea on the final elimination?
Yeah, no shit.
This is a weird, different take on a game that I've seen on the Jimmy Fallon show, where they describe what's in the box and you got to tell if they're lying or not. That would have been better than trying to, if it's just one or two, either or. But I mean, it was turned comical. I know a lot of fans are having problems with why were there only 5 options? Why did one team be able to get 3 and not the other team get a chance to get 3 as well?
Well, every team had a shot at every round.
Exactly.
All teams had a shot at every round.
If you didn't get it, that's on you. You don't talk about fairness. Get it right or shut up.
Exactly. Like, yeah, because I saw that comment as well, and I was just thinking in my head, I'm like, do these people because I don't math, but this is just another level of not mathing, because it wasn't like round one, like each round was only for one set of, like, no, they each had a chance to win every single round. So that's dumb. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. That just,
I was done.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's dumb. What? But that being said, the elimination was also dumb. So, I mean,
I'm not done. But with the elimination, though, the actual elimination part, I think it went along with what the daily was. And that's about it. Good thing they made us laugh.
Here's my thing. This would have been the worst fucking showing ever. Could you imagine if we had Melissa Nicole versus Nany Turbo?
Oh my God.
It would have been horrible.
They would have been all
I
sporadic.
said star. No, you said no star.
Star. I can't help it. Melissa's a really attractive guy.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just fresh start.
Horrible.
Adam and
Absolutely
Steve
horrible.
definitely made the elimination. Without them, it would have sucked way worse.
Yeah.
100%.
Literally. Like,
But I
it
always
was so
talk
funny.
about the budget for these eliminations, and this definitely cost like under $100.
Oh yeah, this was definitely a less than under $100 friggin' elimination. And look, here's my thing: is the elimination itself, yes, it was stupid, but I wouldn't have been as mad seeing it like at the beginning of the season rather than the literal final fucking elimination before you go to the final, the last elimination before you go to the final. This is what we're closing out All Stars 5 with? What? And like, I just don't get it. Like, I don't understand who's making these decisions. I'm like, this was a horrible idea. Like, I don't know. I
would have rather seen them ride around on ATVs in a circle.
It literally, there's so many things, so many eliminations that I have like bagged on in the past that I'm like, I would have taken that over this as the final elimination of the season any day.
What if they just thought that Adam and Steve needed like a little break because they've been in elimination so many times?
But
I mean, shout out to them for tying the record.
Yeah, I was wondering, is it the record?
5-0.
They tied it 5-0.
So it's what, Wes,
Casey,
Sarah Grayson,
Horacio, and Steven Adam.
Steven
Why
Adam.
do I not remember who
That's
that
an elite
is?
group.
Yeah.
That's a really elite group. I mean, elite for eliminations, not for fucking social gameplay that season to stay out.
Yeah.
Fuck. Turbo and Nany lose to Adam and Steve. They're eliminated. Nany misses her final that she could have won. Turbo's dedicated all his futures to getting Nany a final win. So we'll see what happens with that.
Dude, first of all, can I just say, like, they have such an interesting relationship.
Yeah.
Because, like, they're so hot and cold all the fucking time. Like, I feel like they just flip and switch like this because, like, 1 minute we've got Nany screaming at Turbo, and then we've got the next minute where Turbo's like, I will die to get her a fucking win on this show, and I'm just like, what? You guys have like the wildest fucking friendship I've ever seen.
It's a dynamic, that's for sure.
It's a weird friendship, but it works for them. So, I respect it. But yeah, no, I was sad for Nany. I know there's Nany haters out there that are going to hate to hear that, but I was a little sad for her. This was a really good opportunity for her.
Yeah.
You know, they couldn't out-lie or out-chopstick Steve and Adam.
They could not keep a straight face either.
No, they couldn't.
Well, Nany couldn't. Turbo was all right.
Yeah, Turbo was.
He was just like,
but he's an actor. Like, he's, you know, don't be a dick.
Shall we play his YouTube song?
No, I don't want to do that. I'm just saying, like, he's in movies and stuff like that. So, like, he's used to.
What movie is he in?
Isn't he? Doesn't he do like movies? He's done movies in Turkey or whatever. That you can look it up. I will literally look it up right now. I know he did.
I think you're right.
You're probably right, but
Rick's being a dick.
I'm being a dick, and let's not define a movie star as someone who's done
is a Turkish film and TV actor.
Not star.
Yeah, it only says actor.
Did I say star?
Yeah, you said.
He's an actor. Like, he's an actor. Like, he's an actor.
He's an actor.
What did I say?
You said a movie star.
Oh
He
my
is
god,
not a
same
movie
fucking
star.
thing. Who fucking cares?
I don't remember who it was who said it, but someone said on a podcast that they went to Turkey or somewhere and they like name dropped Turbo, and people were like, oh, you know Turbo, like you're good with us. You're good with us.
Huh.
That's interesting.
I could be completely wrong. And if you live in Turkey and you're hearing this, and drop us a line, let us know. Is he a movie
cool?
star?
Yeah.
Because if he is, I will retract all my statements immediately.
Yeah, because I don't know, but I'm just saying. I was just saying, like, he's in movies, he's an actor, and like
my dad was an extra in a movie filmed here in Reno, but that doesn't make him a movie star.
It does in his own eyes.
It does to me.
you're so stuck on fucking the wording that I just like threw out while I was trying to get through
words have meanings, so with that being said, I'm going to say these words and try to get a response from you guys as well. Who are your MVPs for this episode?
Oh, easy.
Go. Shoot.
Adam and Steve.
5-0.
I really, 5-0, matching the record. Obviously, they didn't get a chance to break it this season, but I honestly feel like they would have. If they had gone into a 6th elimination, I feel like they would have broke that fucking record. So massive, massive props to them. And I want to give them MVP on this episode because I don't think I can give it to them for 11. So I am going to, definitely give it to Adam and Steve. Plus, they saved that fucking elimination. That elimination was absolute trash. I literally probably would have shut the fucking episode off if I didn't have to watch it for the podcast. I'd have been like, fuck this. I'm done. And so it was like, I was literally watching it pissed off. And then as soon as they started goofing around, and then like every time they'd win around and like, Adam would get up and he'd do like the cowboy thing, or he'd like get on the chair and start twerking and shit.
Happy
I was like,
Gilmore.
This is amazing. Yeah, I was like, this is amazing. I'm glad I'm glad I got to watch this.
They made it entertaining. They did their job.
Adam and Steve as well. I even sent Adam a message, and I was just like, dude, great job sticking up for a day. And if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have laughed so hard this episode. Thanks very much. And he is like, you're welcome. So it's just, they saved it. So I have to give it to them.
I agree. I feel like Adam and Steve were the two perfect people for that elimination. And Steve is just such a weirdo. I feel like he was like, fuck yes, this is my time to let it shine.
I will say, though, that like nobody got it wrong. Like nobody tricked the other teams. You know what I mean? Like Nany and Turbo did not throw every time they had the, you know what I mean? Like whoever was guessing, so. And Adam and Steve like did this whole elaborate thing to like throw Nany and Turbo off, but Nany and Turbo still guessed right.
They missed one because they had one less ball than Adam.
That's because there was only 5 rounds.
Oh, okay.
And they needed whoever started needed them to miss. They needed to mislead Adam and Steve on one of the rounds, but they didn't. But Adam and Steve also didn't mislead them. So it was that was my other thing. I think it would have been more interesting if there was like if there was if they got misled, like, you know, like.
Yeah, it would have been different if you could have actually misled them in a way. They should have just done Liar's Cup. That would have been better.
Yeah.
I mean, on that point.
Liar's Dice, yeah.
But yeah. All right. So Adam and Steve are definitely getting my honorable mention.
Oh, no. Ooh.
And it's for all the reasons you guys said. But the rest of this episode was made interesting by Shane and Devon. So they are getting my
fair.
MVPs. They carried the whole portion of the show through every segment, pretty much.
That's fair.
So there you go. Little change of pace for you guys.
That's fair. Okay.
Yeah. What do you think about them apples? Does that change your mind?
No, it doesn't change my mind. But it just kind of made me, I don't know, that kind of made me think about MVP in a different way.
I mean, I wouldn't disagree with that.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with it at all. But I've just never really thought of MVP that way. Like that just kind of got my mind like turning a little bit. Cause I don't know, like for me, like the MVP, I always think of like, I don't know, like in like weird terms, you know, like the good guys, like the who won the episode, who was like the winner, the shining star, the superhero of the episode. Whereas like something negative like that, I would have never even considered giving but it's an interesting MVP to give. And I, like I said, I don't disagree with it. I just have never thought about using my MVP that way. That's interesting.
If it was just Shane by himself, I probably wouldn't give it to him. But the fact that it was partnered with Devon and that's where the conflict was.
Yeah.
And that it not only was during the daily, but it was also during the, you know, after part in the bar when they were sitting there and she was saying stuff when he was right there. And then he got up and he was like, I'm fucking done. I'll quit, you know, all of that.
And then the conversation with Adam in the house.
Yeah. And then the conversation with Shane and Devon at the end, the whole episode was about them having a huge blow up and then a resolution to get through, which we'll talk about.
Good point.
Real soon. But
right.
They carried the episode. So I'm giving them the MVP.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, send us a fucking message on Yelp. That felt right. I'm not going to lie.
I like it.
All right, guys, we're back. Let's get into episode 11, part 1 of the final, A Race for the Stars.
Womp, womp, womp.
I feel like it's not that bad.
No, it's not.
No, it's really
just corny.
Corny, yes.
It's not get rich or die trying, so plus for that.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? Or fucking with some of the shit we got in earlier, like a star-studded arrival.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Come on. Like these are I'm not gonna shit on them too much.
You drivel me crazy.
Oh my God.
I wanted to fight them on that episode. Like, let's square up right now because what is this?
I'm giving them. I'm not gonna talk shit. I'm not gonna talk shit. Let's get into this episode because before we even get into the questions, I think it was pretty interesting. Some of the first shit we saw. We go from, hey, Nicole calling her fiance, hey, how are you doing, babe? This is my partner. Isn't she great? La, 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 la. I love you so much. Shake that ass for me. To let's go do a puzzle in bed. And then it cuts to the camera that they made a little fort and Melissa's just blink, pants off.
Yeah. Well, and even when they were standing at the counter with everybody, like Nicole's sitting there and she's like pinching Melissa's ass and rubbing it and stuff like that. I'm like, that's not friendship. I don't care what Melissa says in her confessionals. I don't care what Nicole says. Oh, we're just friends. No. We're just touchy-feely friends. No. If
Rick, wait till the next time I come to hang out.
If Rick ever was touchy-feely,
why would somebody do that?
Like, how do you think that that's okay to do with your friend? I don't understand that.
The thing is, Nicole she's a serial doer of this, so she probably doesn't see that it was not okay. But really, after the next scene, there's like no denying it. Like they were fucking. So
literally,
I mean, you said it. She's a serial doer.
She does it every time.
She is a serial cheater. But here is my actual question about this: Is Nicole the biggest fuckboy of all time in the challenge?
Or is she the biggest pimp, dude? She hooks up all the time.
God.
Either way.
Since Corey retired the title, I didn't say
Oh yeah, Corey passed
Corey
the
did
title to
retire the
Nicole.
title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kyle was running through for a couple seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
No, I mean, it's weird too because you have people like Corey, right, who consistently hook up on the challenge with lots of different women. And then you have Nicole, who doesn't necessarily hook up with a lot of different women, but is always hooking up with women when she's not supposed to be.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, which side is more fuckboyish? You know, like, I don't know, but it's bad either way.
Like her batting average for hooking up in the challenge when she's in a relationship is like 100%.
Literally. Has she
Like-
ever been on the show in a relationship and not cheated? That's what I want to know.
That shit
Where's
is
stats and
wild.
info?
That's Barry Bonds level statistics. I'm just putting that out there.
Next time on Challengers Cheat.
Yeah.
And here's my question. How in the world does she keep getting girlfriends when this is consistently taped and aired and like out there for the public all the fucking time? It's not like a one-time thing. She did it once. Oh, that's not really her. She just had a week, whatever. No, it's literally all the time. So like, how does she keep like getting girlfriends and fiancés all the damn time?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand that.
She a firefighter.
Honestly, just like we were saying earlier, how people on the shows remind you of people in real life. I know a girl like that who is like the kind of girl who turns straight girls gay. Like there's just something about her. You can't explain it. The guys want her. The girls want her. Not in this situation. Well, never mind. I'll
Someone,
save that
I'm
for
sure
when we-
someone would. I mean, it's fucking wild to me. Like, and I do think Melissa was telling a half truth in her confessional where she's like, it just passes the time. Like, I believe her in that. I don't think she's trying to fucking get in a relationship with Nicole because she probably knows what Nicole is.
No, I definitely agree with that.
She knows from Laurel. They were friends. Probably not anymore.
Here's my thing that I want to throw out there. And this is not at all me like taking a shot at Melissa, you know, whatever, like it's her life and whatever. But do y'all remember back at the beginning, towards the beginning of the season, it could have even been like right before the season started, when Nany and Casey announced their breakup and the fucking fans went wild and they were like making all kinds of assumptions. And they were like, I bet they broke up because Nany probably cheated on Casey while filming 41 and it was probably with Melissa. And then Nany put out like this big O statement talking about how like hurtful this was for people to assume that and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And Melissa replied to it and backed her up and was like, yeah, I can't believe you guys would think this. Like, I would never do that. Like, I would never disrespect a relationship like that, especially Nany and Casey, because I love them, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, so just not that relationship. This one, totally fine to disrespect, even though you literally sat and looked this woman in her eyes just a couple days ago. And then I'm like, were y'all already fucking when you did that?
Yes.
Probably.
Yes.
You know, like it
They've
just
been in the same bed, top and bottom bunk, like changing in front of each other. Come on. And also, you know Nicole's type. I'm sorry, but Melissa is Nicole's type.
Yeah. It is what it is. I
well,
mean,
they had that whole thing on, what was it?
It's just a nostalgia thing. That's all it is.
yeah, vendettas.
Vendettas or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, this has been going on for a while.
Good for them.
Yeah. I mean, more, you know, whatever. I mean, it doesn't affect my
Well,
life. So like, whatever. But it was just one of those things that I was like, okay,
Wait a
it's fine.
minute.
Yeah. Just wait,
Yeah.
what?
All of a sudden the connection comes. You
Yeah.
just get that string.
The
that
little
goes
string
across.
connects. Yeah.
All right. So once again, Shane and Devon make this whole fucking dinner table conversation, the interesting part of this, out of just sheer awkwardness of the conversation.
Oh my God. Well, I mean, I don't know because it wasn't necessarily their fault. Like,
Just answering questions.
it was Nicole who presented the question.
Oh, Nicole was stirring the shit. She got laid. She had post-nut clarity.
Yeah.
She was asking the solid questions. She was there to make
I
a
came
show.
up with
I'm not-
a new term for Nicole after this, and it's called post fuck luck.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that was the fucking
I was
roll
thinking
on
about
that
it earlier.
question.
Yeah, she knew exactly what she was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just thinking after the conversation that Shane and Day had prior, I think that Day knew exactly what she was doing. She was stirring the pot by not answering and asking another question. But I think it would have done their team dynamic better as she just said something like, we'll see. That would have been better than what she did. But I'm glad and thankful for what she did, or we wouldn't be talking right now.
And I think that that's what Shane wanted, right? He wanted
the response.
to give some sort of response, even if it was a bullshit response. But I don't know, like I think that what she did is very Devon of her to do. And it was exactly what I expected. The absolute second I heard that question leave Nicole's lips, I knew that there was trouble on the horizon. Okay, the storm is rolling in because Devon is not going to answer this question the way that Shane would want her to, or anybody else at the table would expect her to. And I didn't necessarily expect her to just literally sit there silent and ignore everybody. But, but I don't know. It definitely made the moment interesting. And I can't necessarily blame her. Like, what do you want me to say? I'm either going to be a bitch right now and say, no, I want nothing to do with this guy as soon as we get out of here. Or I'm going to sit and be silent, and Devon definitely reminds me of one of those people that would oh, mama always told me if you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
She didn't say nothing at all.
I just think that, how do I want to put this? The two of them are very good socially and strategically and read people very well. And I think the way that they play against each other and why they are actual rivals is because they look at this as a game of chess. And Devon knew he was going to answer this way, especially after he looked on the last one.
Yeah.
And she knew that if she just didn't make the move and just stayed silent instead of saying, we'll see, or, there's still some game left, let's see how it goes, anything like that, she set up an awkward situation that played against Shane and he didn't know how to respond. It was basically like checkmate, bitch.
Mm-hmm.
I think the perfect answer would have been, well, let's see how much money he helps me win.
Right?
Yeah, I'm a little nervous for that, to be honest.
Well, speaking
of which,
yeah, that's the first question is, did Shane's decision to threaten the final of another competitor, especially Devon, like, fuck you, I'm not going to let you win any money. I'll quit if I have to, which he kind of said previously as well. Do you think that's something he would really do, or he's just playing that up for the drama?
Oh, that is tough because I feel like Shane would want to be in the position that Bananas is in, as in like known as one of the very few people to do something that iconic. But I do think he has a heart. And also Devon is a mother. And even though they're rivals, they have a relationship of some sort. But also, if he takes the money from her, she is going to tell God to send him to hell because I don't know if I would do that to her because she seems very like in touch with her spirits right now.
I feel like the blow up that Hunter had compared to the blow up Devon would have if that happened would be.
Yeah, she might have to go to church.
I was going to say she might have to get rebaptized again.
Yeah, it would be the difference between like, your gutter getting a little full with rain compared to like the Mississippi flooding. You know what I mean? In my opinion, but
I'd be scared.
Yeah.
So look, here's my thing with this moment with Shane where he was threatening to potentially throw the final, not help Devon get any money. This, I feel kind of the same that Alexis does. This is kind of a tough question for me because I could literally see either way. Number one, I truly think that we talked about this earlier. Shane is a very emotional person as far as like, that's how he communicates, right? Like he just says whatever is happening in that moment. And I think in this moment, his feelings were very hurt. He was embarrassed. because he put himself out there and literally got rejected by silence. And that's embarrassing. You know, and he seems, I mean, I don't know if he's genuine about wanting to be Devon's friend, but it's coming off as genuine, especially with how it's affecting him emotionally, that she has no interest in it at all. So, you know, he's carrying all that weight. He's very upset right now. And I think he spoke out of anger. That being said, we've seen Shane do this before. We've seen Shane literally throw a daily to get his partner thrown into him and his partner thrown into an elimination. And if I remember correctly, they went home.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I thought so. So that's why I'm like, it's not like I can put it past Shane to absolutely do this. I'm glad that he woke up and said, hey, this is actually, you know what? This is the first time I've ever made it to a final. I'm not going to fucking just give up because I'm mad at Devon. So, you know, props to him for that, for coming to that realization. But again, what brought him back around was his own personal need. It wasn't, you know, about the partnership that he committed to for this season. It wasn't about doing the right thing for the partnership or for the team or for Devon. And, you know, it was, this is my first final, so I'm going to do it, which is fine. You know what I mean? You're allowed to be selfish and all of that, but it was just something that I noticed. So yeah, I don't think that, like, I think he was speaking out of anger, but I also wouldn't have put it past him to actually throw the final.
Well, and that's my thing. And I don't think he's going to throw the final.
Oh, I don't think so now, after seeing how they've, you know.
Yeah, no, like, that's what I was saying is he's not going to throw it because it's his first final. If this wasn't his first final, then I'd be like, oh, it could happen. And I would not be surprised at all.
Yeah.
But because it's his first final, he's going to put his all out and try to make something happen. And it's the same thing that I think anyone else in his position would do, regardless of how good or bad your partnership is right now.
Yeah.
Okay. So going into this final, the first checkpoint we get is the fucking dunes of hell. Like I haven't seen an incline like that in a long time. I thought they were exaggerating it when they were, you know, how they pan the whatever they're going to be doing. They kind of pan it with the drone. Yeah.
I thought that they were exaggerating the steepness of the dune there by, you know, angling the camera more or whatever. I didn't realize exactly how steep it was until we started seeing them try to go up with that ball. And I was like, wait, holy shit, this shit is almost literally like straight up.
That was like some NASCAR fucking banking in Talladega shit. It's wild.
Nuts. Yeah.
Here's my thing on this. Looked super difficult, but was surprised about how quickly teams did it. So that tells me the puzzle wasn't that difficult.
Right.
The next checkpoint was, what was the next one? It was...
Here, hang on. Let me get back to my actual...
We've got dunes like that here in Indiana called the Indiana Dunes National Park now. And it is no fucking joke.
That's crazy.
That is wild.
So I know that would be hard.
So checkpoint 2 was hashtag barrels. That was the one where they had to hold the rope and roll the barrels and do the math.
Okay. Yeah.
thing.
So they have that one. And then the third one was
the tower basket.
The tower basket where you could throw the volleyball at them.
And then
the final one was putting together the whole room, all 42 pieces correctly.
Camping thing, yeah.
The camping room.
Mm-hmm.
So looking at all of these, which checkpoint did you guys like stood out most to you that you really liked? And do you think that these felt like a really true test of partnerships and skills within that partnership, or it just wasn't landing for you?
I really liked the one where they had to set up the camping room.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like we haven't really seen very many things like that. And that was a lot of fucking pieces. Personally, if I had to do one, I'd probably want to do the barrel one.
Yeah.
Because that one seemed pretty doable. And Adam and Steve definitely had an advantage that they've done it before.
Yeah.
So that's nice. But I also noticed for that, like, only one number was double digits. So obviously that had to go in the middle.
Right.
Like,
so
go ahead. Sorry.
That's just not very much like brain power. Like, you know that's going to be the one in the middle because it's the biggest number.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to me, the one that I think I would want to do the most is the tower building one. Like, because I think about, excuse me, about me. I think about me and you doing it together. And I think as soon as we had the communication, if you stretch it out, it drops it, let it go, and we'll just move it and be careful as we get in there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, someone just walked back in Alexa's room. But once we figured that out, we would be able to put it together quickly. And I think we would do well at it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the most challenge final worthy one was either the first one or the last one, the camping or the dune one. And I did enjoy watching the camping one more though.
Yeah.
I like the barrel one. I think I could have done that one fairly easily. I think the one I wouldn't have wanted to do would have been the dune one. But I think just memorizing that stuff, then trying to walk up that dune while catching the ball, keeping it off the sand, and then getting the word right, I think that one probably would have been the hardest one for me to do.
Yeah, I definitely, it's actually kind of funny because as soon as the barrel one, like when they started doing it, like Rick and I looked at each other and we were like, oh, this is actually kind of cool. And then like 30 seconds later, we got the flashback from Adam's confessional where he's talking about the elimination with Devin. And we were like, oh, that's why we like it, because we've already seen it before and we liked it last time too.
Exactly.
But no, so I really like the Dune one. For me personally, I feel like the one I would have done the best at would have been the fourth one, the camping one, the memorization one. I liked that one the best because I felt like, the first one was very, like, there was memorization and puzzle, but it was very endurance heavy, very endurance heavy. Number two, with the barrels, felt like, kind of a mix of both, but it was still way more endurance than it was like mental, right? 3 was all about communication. Like with the tower where you had to stack the tower, it was that one was testing your communication with your team, with your teammate.
Sorry, I am so sorry. I just wanted to reference. I am so sorry.
So the third checkpoint with the towers was definitely all about communication, but I feel like the fourth one was like kind of all three, right? Like there was endurance, there was memorization, puzzle, and then you also had to be able to communicate with your partner properly. We saw how, not communicating with your partner was affecting people like Melissa and Nicole, was affecting Steve and Adam, because Steve would set up the napkin and then Adam would go and change it. But Steve had it right to start with and Adam was messing it up, but they weren't talking to each other. Nicole changing things right as Melissa's calling check and messing it up and, getting there. And then now they wasted a check and have to go back, so like there was just there. I really liked that one. For me, I don't think that there was any like bad checkpoints, to be honest. I think all 4 checkpoints were very good and tested the teams in different ways. But if I had to pick one that like fell flat for me, that I didn't really enjoy watching as much, would definitely be the tower one. It was just kind of like boring to watch. Other than like Melissa and Nicole screaming at each other, that was pretty hilarious. Because immediately I was like, it's kind of funny because they kicked ass on the physical stuff, and as soon as it came to communication, they fell apart. And I think that that's an interesting aspect of their partnership to see in that part of the final. But
so I wanted to, before we get into that, I wanted to bring one thing up, and I shout out to bracketology.tv on TikTok. He has a video on this. So go check it out. We can link it below for you guys as well. But the challenge production, from what we saw shown, they fucked up on the barrel. One of the number sets was wrong. I think it was for equaling 11. And you think it was for Mel and Nicole on one of theirs,
yeah, because the platform and the barrels are blue, and I'm pretty like dark blue, and I'm pretty sure that was Mel and Melissa, or Mel and Melissa. Mel and Nicole. Mel and Nicole's color.
So interesting. Once again, we see it again. Happened in 40. We're seeing it in All Stars 5. But with that being said, this is the first time we've seen it, so I'm going to let it slip. They just had it in one wrong spot. They rotated.
Right.
But getting back to Nicole and Melissa and them having a complete fucking meltdown during the final part of the first day of the final. Is this a sign of what's to come, or do you think they're going to be able to get over this?
I don't know. I think that, like, obviously, you know, people are different and different people work together differently. You know, we're definitely seeing a different side of Shane and Devon, which major props to them because they're absolutely kicking ass in this final.
Team.
Yeah, they are the team to beat. And I never, ever would have guessed that with how their relationship is, right? Adam and Steve expected them to blow everybody out of the water, and they're not, you know, but what I noticed, and again, like I said this a few minutes ago, what I've noticed is that Melissa and Nicole don't communicate. They perform fine together when it's just physical stuff, but they don't really communicate well together. And, you know, you could even see it like when they were doing that first challenge, the one that they got first place in, you know, the Dune thing, when they were like going back and forth with the balls, you know, every other team was like, yeah, great job. All right. Yeah, go right there, get set, you know, and they were like communicating, talking to each other. Melissa and Nicole were like damn near silent with each other. Other than every once in a while, Nicole would say, go. You know what I mean? So like, there's just no communication between them. And I do think that that's going to continue to hinder them the rest of the final, because I don't see the rest of the final, like, just being straight physical challenges. I think we're going to get a nice mix on day 2, just like we did for day 1.
I think it's going to probably be 50-50. We're going to get 4 checkpoints and 2 kind of endurance, 2 non-endurance. It looks like a eating one and maybe trivia, kind of the way they teased it. But what do you guys think? Do you think Mel and Nicole are going to be able to recover, or is this just the unraveling?
I think once they realize that they're not in last place right now, and they take a breather, I think they'll be all right. But you know, it's going to come and go. I think we're going to see every other checkpoint.
I agree, especially if it's major, like, communication based. What do you think, Alexis?
I mean, I don't think they're going to win, but I mean, they're already doing better than I expected them to be honest.
To be honest, I didn't expect them to make the final.
It's that post-fuck luck.
Right? I didn't expect him to come out winning the first part.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess it could go either way. They could have a nice reset after resting, you know, and getting some. And I also don't know how the overnight portion. Are they going to get tested in an overnight portion, or are they just chilling out sleeping? You know what I mean? So that's going to be interesting to see as well.
Okay, so I want to ask you guys about this, and it's because it's the only real sabotage we got through this first part of the final. Wow. And it was actually during the one I was telling you that I think we would do best at, which was building the pyramid. 2 reasons. One, I think we have good communication. Second reason, when I was about 3 to 6 years old, all I used to do with the half and half things at restaurants is stack them in pyramids. So I have that right there. Just putting that out there.
Muscle memory. I got it. Got it.
Anyways, Adam and Steve decide to go after fucking Frank and Sam.
Hold on. Adam alone.
I was going to say Adam.
But they are a team. They're a team.
Yeah, no, you're right.
They're a team.
Steve definitely did not agree with that decision.
Yeah. They try to go after Frank and Sam, who are nowhere near the lead. They're in last place at this point.
Yeah.
And sabotage them instead of Shane and Devon, who are actively in front of them, if I remember correctly, at this point.
They were literally beating them.
And beating them in this competition.
Yes.
So did they make the right decision, or was Adam being a bit impulsive?
Payback's a bitch.
Adam's so fucking petty. He is a petty Betty, and I love him so much for it. But no, this was stupid, dude. He had an opportunity to, you know, make a difference in this moment. And I mean, look, this is the towered out one. I mean, to be fair, they did end up winning that checkpoint. Adam and Steve did, but it wasn't because of them. Like, they did not pull the sabotage that caused them to win. You know, so the fact that he ran over there and he was so set on being petty chucks the ball before he even gets like set or gets his aim right or anything. And it just like hits Frank in the ass cheek. I was like, that's goal. And Frank just like looked at it and then looked at Adam.
It was so good. So good. So
no, Adam, no. Oh, no, that was dumb. But I love
That was
him.
hilarious.
it was.
It was funny.
I think that the sabotage was not even worth it. It was purely out of emotion, but then it was just like karma right there. Like you should have gone for somebody else because maybe you would have hit it.
Yeah.
I don't understand why he didn't go for Shane and Devon. They were beating him. Like, and that was my thing, is it was like, I get being petty, but you're about to lose the checkpoint.
And that's my thing, is Frank timed it right when he went after Shane and Devon. He waited till they were up top and couldn't block.
Yeah. And that's
right.
what they should have done. Like, I don't know.
Dude, I agree. They had no reason to go after them. It made no sense. You weren't doing anything but wasting time. But the throw, I mean, that was just hilarious.
It was beautiful.
They should probably make a GIF out of that.
Yeah. Now here's the counter argument to this. I think maybe in a roundabout way, this is smart in playing the long game, because it meant that Shane and Devon, because Frank and Sam went after them right away, meant Shane and Devon didn't go after Adam and Steve and went after, vice versa, and they beat them. So
Yeah.
it ended up working out in the long run. That's my counter argument, that it really wasn't a bad move. And you have to hold the same regard to Shane that you do Adam on this being petty, because he went after Frank and Sam too.
Yeah, but Frank and Sam were beating him at that point, because Frank came over and took down a big chunk of their tower.
But so was Adam and Steve, and Adam and Steve end up winning.
Right. No.
So I'm just saying, Anyways, with that being said, we've talked about all these checkpoints. Let's get a breakdown of who's in the lead after these 4 checkpoints and what their points are.
All right. So at the end of checkpoint 4, we are sitting with I can't read with this bar in my face. Okay. In my way. Okay. So we've got Frank and Sam in 4th place with 7 stars total. Okay. We've got Nicole and Melissa in 3rd place with 9 stars total.
Okay.
We've got Adam and Steve in 2nd with 10 stars total. And then Shane and Devon leading the pack with 13 stars going into day 2. I am so fucking shocked.
So, okay, based on that, everybody is within 2 checkpoints of being in the lead, technically. Yeah. Because Frank and Sam could win 2, the next 2 make 8 points and technically be right there in it, right?
Right.
Going into the last 2. So it's still close. It's not like how it was on season 40 where we all knew Jordan was going to win after the 2nd checkpoint.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We knew he was going to win when he showed up.
Yeah, exactly. But you get my point.
Yeah.
Is this a final anybody can win? Or is this set up that, only the top teams are going to win this?
What we've seen so far with the games, I think it's anybody's game, really. We don't know what's coming up. We haven't seen some of these people eat in a while. So I'm up for it. I can't wait to see who actually comes out. And the final tally may surprise us all.
I feel like they're trying to make it so that anybody can win. I feel like if they weren't, that we would see next on, and it would be like swimming, I don't know. We haven't seen any swimming, and I feel like that's pretty intense. Like, I could think of a few teams that are likely to not do very well in swimming, long distance especially.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we see eating instead. So, and I didn't see anything about trivia, but if trivia is next, both of those things are anybody's game, really.
I think it is dependent on what the next assumed 4 checkpoints are in day 2, last episode. In my heart, you know what? I will just play the counter argument. Yes, it's a fair final that anybody can win, because if you're breaking it up into 2 and basically 4 endurance checkpoints in 2 days of the finals and 4, teamwork, not based on endurance, don't have to be in the best shape to win this part of the checkpoint, then yes, it is a fair opportunity because we're going to get an even matchup against both. Now, with that being said, I think All Stars 4 was actually more set up for anybody to win than this one is, in my personal opinion. I still think it leans heavy to Adam and Steve because they're two guys in this. And if it's one really big endurance thing, they could get a lead that they don't look back from.
Mm.
Yeah, but they're also the oldest team.
Yeah, that's true. Or if there's something where instead of having to walk on the barrels, you have to carry them with rocks in it, they're going to beat every team out there.
Yeah.
Or like, what if they have to pick their partner up and they have to carry each other's weight? They're both two full-grown men.
That is true. Yeah, but
that's a
at
good
the
point
same
too.
time, Melissa, I think, would have a hard time carrying Nicole, just like Adam would have a hard time carrying Steve.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. Yeah, she's probably pretty dense. She's
Yeah.
full muscle.
Yeah.
So putting that out there.
Look, I don't know. I don't think that this final is as set up for anyone to win it as maybe, it was presented originally. That being said, I do think that you're right, Alexis. I think that they're trying. I think that this is a solid effort towards making a more fair, even final for anyone of any shape and size kind of a thing. But I just think that, yes, if there are 4 checkpoints that are endurance, physical, and then there are 4 checkpoints that are puzzle or whatever, that's great. And I definitely think it helps, even out the playing field. But when these puzzle ones also have endurance in them, that's where it's not fair anymore. That's where it's okay, it's just more endurance. You know what I mean? So it's just more of Sam struggling to even get to the fucking puzzle so that her and Frank can finish it. You know what I mean? So I think that that's more where I'm coming from with that. It's not, and again, I'm not upset about this. This isn't something that I'm the finals need to be fair, blah, blah. I'm not saying that at all. It's just funny because these all-star seasons are presented that way, right? Where they're here for, and I believe TJ even said this at the beginning of the season, and we even had a debate about it because of Veronica and Katie and all of that. And I was like, dude, there's no fucking way Veronica and Katie would ever have a chance in a final against Adam and Steve. That's just, no, that's not going to happen. Yeah. And I still, after seeing the final, I heavily feel that way. I feel like there would have been no chance, no shot for them in this final, regardless of the puzzles, because again, a lot of these puzzles have a lot of endurance and stuff like that with it as well. And if you honestly, if you don't have endurance, you're just not going to do that well in finals. And I think that that's just what it is.
I think at the end of the day, what I look at is who I want to, and no matter who I pick on, someone's going to say, oh, you're just picking that person, you're being mean. But let's say Big Easy, right? Okay. If Big Easy was in any of the All-Stars finals that we've seen, 1, 2, 3, 4, and now 5 thus far, which one do you think he has the best odds of winning?
4.
Same.
Yeah, I agree. All-Stars 4 was definitely the most even anybody could win this. You literally don't know who's going to win it. But what's funny is that final had people who were capable of completing the All-Stars 2 final, which was pretty insane. We had people quit and not even finish.
Even All-Stars 1 final.
Even All-Stars 1 was pretty insane, And so, and that's what I mean, where I'm I see where you're coming from, Alexis, where they're trying, right? They're not making them these, 40 plus year old OGs that we fucking love. They're not making them climb a whole goddamn mountain anymore. So I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you're not forcing them to climb a whole fucking mountain, it's more likely that we're going to get some of these OGs to come back. Because nobody, I won't say nobody, because then I'm going to get all the fitness gurus in my ass. I love to climb mountains at 40 years old. But half these people, they ain't got no fucking interest in climbing a mountain at 44 years old.
You
like
think
the
Katie's
fuck?
out there trying to climb a mountain on their
Hell
weekend?
no. You know what I mean? But I want to see Katie on TV. So maybe we don't put mountains in the final for All Stars, know? So I appreciate that they've done that, but I still just don't. I just think it's a little bit of a misrepresentation for TJ to be like, this season is anyone's game. Anyone can win this season. And it's like, that's not entirely true. That's like when he says, this is the hardest final ever.
Yeah.
Like he just says that and it's just kind of BS,
Okay. So that leads me into a follow-up question. Do you prefer finals like we see on the flagship where it's difficult finals, or do you prefer these finals where it's more they are trying to set it up for anyone to win? Which one do you prefer watching?
I mean, honestly, I can't really pick because for me, it's like two different things. It's like apples and oranges, right? Like on the flagship, I'll tell you what I don't want to see.
Okay.
I don't want to see Jordan fucking Wisely competing on All Stars against these OGs where he's just going to absolutely mop the floor with them without even lifting a finger. That's what I don't want to see. I want to see the Jordan Wisleys getting put to the test on the mountain. Put them through the shit. Drag them through it, know?
Agreed.
On All Stars, though, let us just enjoy a lighter, funner version of the show. Again, the old school, because that's what the old school challenge was. It was very light and fun, and the dailies were silly and easy and, had some endurance and stuff, but it wasn't like fucking run 30 miles for this mini final, in the middle of the season, which again, I love mini finals, but not for, you know what I mean? So for me, they're two different things. I want both. Capital B, capital O, capital A, capital F, both.
Okay.
Hi, mine. Exactly. I think it should be like flagship and flagship light. I mean, it's All Stars but the name All Stars kind of makes you think of something different, though. It's like when I'm watching the All Star game for the NBA, it's the best of the best. Now, if it's just OGs, season 1, season 2, something like that, yeah, but. So it's the name that brings up a little different, but I agree wholeheartedly. If I'm watching All Stars, I want to see nothing but OGs on there, and I want to see them competing. I like seeing Derek. I like seeing The Godfather, Tina, all of them. Bring them all back on All Stars. That's their show now. Let them have it, and then every once in a while on a flagship, pop somebody up there and be like, "Hey, I'm here to fuck your season up."
Yeah, and I don't mind the Derricks, popping in on the flagship and the All Stars. I feel like there are some players that can cross over into both, but again, I think that's why you have to make All Stars a little less intense than the flagship, because you are going to have the Derricks and the Marks that pop in every, couple seasons or whatever, competing against the Veronicas and the Katies and the Melissa's and stuff like that. So it's like you almost have to pull the intensity down of the competition down a little bit to be able to make it enjoyable to watch, because nobody, well, at least from my perspective, nobody wants to just watch one person absolutely dominate an entire season. You know what I mean? So yeah. And then as far as the All Stars thing, number one, obviously a buzzword. That's why they chose it. But somebody did actually make a good point, and it was forever ago, when I think All Stars 2 was on or some shit like that. So a long time ago. So I can't credit whoever said this, but they made a point that said All Stars obviously, is the best of whatever it is, right? NBA, football, the challenge, whatever. But the thing that you have to learn to accept when it comes to reality All Stars is that, social and comedy and all this other stuff plays in. So it's not just the best of the best physically. It's the best of the best socially, the best of the best entertainment wise, the best of the best physically, the best, it's the best of the best of all of whatever they do. Drama, pot stir, whatever the fuck, you know what I mean?
Thank you for saying that, because I wouldn't have thought it that way. So thank you.
That's where we get our Shanes, our Franks, our Amandas, because they're the best of the best. They're the all-stars of starting shit and making entertaining TV, you know?
So then should people like Leroy and Devin been on this season? Ashley and Anissa.
I don't like, it's hard for me to say no, or it's hard for me to say no, they shouldn't have been, because I love them, and it was awesome to see like Devin in this situation and, in this environment. But probably no. I do think that and maybe this is where I think production fucked up. For me, it wasn't naming it All Stars. It was selling it as an old school thing, right? And then now all of a sudden you're bringing on people who were never even on Real World or Road Rules, and people who aren't from MTV at all. They're from CBS, and you're putting them on All Stars. So that part, it was like, if you hadn't sold it as like this show for the OGs to bring you guys your old favorites back, if you didn't sell it that way, we wouldn't be expecting just that. Now, I think that I'm one of the challenge fans, and maybe it's because of the podcast, where I just try to be open-minded and accepting of whatever they're doing. So like, I'm not one of those people that's like gatekeeping against modern players coming on All Stars. If you're making a name for yourself and you're, like building a fan base and the fans love you and you're really good at whatever your archetype is on the show, then by all means, I'm not going to complain about it. But at the end of the day, would I like it to just be OGs from Real World Road Rules? Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, that was a really long-winded explanation.
No,
but
I agree.
I had some feelings.
Yeah. No, here's Alexis. Do you have anything you want to add to this?
The only thing I want to add is that Leroy and Devin, and who else did you mention?
Ashley and Anissa?
Yeah.
Well, Anissa belonged there for sure.
Anissa, but Ashley to me doesn't.
No.
But anyways, go ahead.
Really, Leroy and Devin, they're the best of the best in our hearts. So they can be there because we like them. But I agree.
I think they have to be very distinctive with All Stars, because if we're doing games that are anybody can win, you cannot stack the field in a certain type of way, because then it's not the same.
Agree.
Because like you said, I don't want to see Jordan kill everybody doing carnival games, because he's good at that too. And so is Bananas.
Yeah.
I also understand casting's perspective of, we need to call as many people as we can to fill this role, because schedules conflict. We can get certain people, we can't get others.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to come up with, look, it's all OGs from pre-season 21.
And that's the thing too that I try to remember, is like how difficult is it for them to go back and get these people who haven't been on TV in 10, 15, 20 years and get them to come back in today's social climate. Like back then, there wasn't social media. There wasn't, all this extra shit, these podcasts, these Twitter and YouTube videos and breakdowns and just all these things. And social media, like I said. So I imagine that it's difficult for them to cast a whole season with just OGs. And then when they do stuff like what they did on All Stars 5, where they start filming All Stars 5 before they're even done filming season 4, or like literally as soon as they're done filming season 40, it eliminates a lot of people. You know what I mean? Eliminates options, especially with 40 having had a bunch of the OGs that we love on it. So they kind of had to, a lot of people don't want to go back to back like that. So they in my opinion, they kind of screwed themselves doing it that way on the cast to even begin with. And they had no option but to cast the Devin and Leroy's, the, Ashley and Nisa BS pair up. And,
I think personally they should have tried to play it out a little bit longer, filmed 41, then All Stars 5 would play better. But who knows? Maybe we'll get a good All Star 6 based on everything that we're hearing as far as potential ratings are going.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed we get a Coral. That would be lovely.
Dang.
God, I would love to see her back.
God, it would be a godsend to see her back. Yeah. So
yeah, well, she kind of teased it.
She did.
Yeah, she
did.
She's
fucking tease me like that all day. So After seeing day one of the final, knowing where everybody's landing, Shane and Devon in first, Adam and Steve in second, and then what, Frank and Sam in third, and Mel and Nicole in fourth, or vice versa on those last two?
Vice versa.
Mel and Nicole
Yeah,
in
vice
third.
versa. Frank and Sam are in last, Mel and Nicole
But
third.
it's only by like 1 or 2 points,
2
right?
points.
Yeah, okay. So let me get your final win predictions. Who's going to win and with the placements you got, what you think it's going to end up. And then, other than your predictions, I want to hear what in your heart you want to happen. Like, if you could do the thing that makes you the most happy, who would win?
Predictions, I think it's going to be Shane and Devon in first. Should we also mention if we think that someone's going to take the money or not?
Absolutely.
Okay. I don't know. I do think that Shane and Devon are going to come in first. I'm torn on if I want to know how they decide who's going to get to pick. So, but it just would be some shit if Shane took some money from Devon.
Yeah.
And then I think Adam and Steve are going to be next. And then probably Melissa and Nicole, and then Frank and Sam. But in my heart, I want Adam and Steve to win. And to be honest, I would love for Frank and Sam to be in second. And then probably Shane and Devon, and then Melissa and Nicole.
I want Steve and Adam first, Shay and Devon second, third, Sam and Frank, and then Mel and Nicole. However, if Shane and Devon pull it out, I hope that Day gets the chance to steal, and she looks him in the eye and goes, "Sorry about your luck. All the money's mine."
Oh my God, she would not do that.
You don't think?
Not now.
You don't think?
No, I don't think she would, honestly.
I'm just-
Maybe.
I'm just-
You know what?
I-
Maybe. I can see it.
This is my wish list,
Yeah,
right?
it's your wish
This
list.
is mine.
Yeah.
Mine.
No, I definitely, I can see that. I can see that. Okay.
I would love for her too.
What are you thinking?
All right. What I think is going to happen, I think Adam and Steve are going to end up winning. I know that Shane and Devon are in the lead right now. But something tells me that once we get to day 2, we get to the eating portion, and we get around to those steal or not steal questions, whatever that trivia question checkpoint is. I feel like Shane and Devon are going to struggle with the eating portion, whereas I think Adam and Steve are going to have a much easier time with it. Whatever it is, I just think they're going to be in lockdown mode because they're going to realize that they're in second place and they're not that far behind. And I feel like they're going to hit that fucking gas pedal and go. And then I think that I don't think that we've seen the end of the Shane and Devon drama. So I think Adam and Steve are going to win. And then I'm going to say probably still Shane and Devon in second. Melissa and Nicole in third, Frank and Sam in fourth is how I think the finishing is going to go. But what I want in my heart of hearts, I would love for Frank and Sam to come out of nowhere, all the way from the bottom, take the whole second day and win the final. Like, Frank has made this season so much fun to watch. He's performed well. They've won a couple of dailies. You know what I mean? Like, they got their star and held on to, like, it's just, he's played such a good game, and, and Sam has too. But, especially Frank with all the social work that he put in this season and stuff, like, it just, and because they're the underdogs, it's easy to say Adam and Steve are going to win. But there's just something in my heart that's pulling for Frank and Sam to win as the underdogs. And then after that, I would love to see Shane and Devon, and then Adam, Steve, and obviously Melissa and Nicole last. And that's really hard because I like those top 3 teams. I really like them all. As for the money steal thing, I'm kind of on the other side of the fence of this. I don't think they're going to do it. I think they are teasing the cast members with the question, and I think they're teasing the fans with the preview. to get us to watch the final because of the possibility.
Yep.
But there is literally no way for them to choose which partner has won, and unless day 2 is like, now you guys are competing against each other, which it could be. And if it is, then I don't know. Like I get torn on this because I don't like money steals, but I like the drama from the money steals. I like watching it. It's like a fucking train wreck. And you're like, oh, this is fucking horrible, but holy shit. So for entertainment purposes, would love to see it. But like, just as a human being, no, that's shitty. And then last thought that I want to throw in so I don't forget is major props, whatever the reason was for the decision, major props to production for making sure that there is prize money for every single placement.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for not just giving all the money to first and saying fuck you to whoever finishes second, third, fourth. Like I was saying this to Rick earlier. I don't mind if they do like an elimination in the final. I don't mind that. But if somebody crosses that finish line, they need something, even if it's just $5,000. They give them something for crossing that finish line.
Yep.
So,
okay, I'm going to give my final thoughts on this, and then I'm going to close this out. So what I think is almost exactly the same as you. I think Adam, Steve end up winning it. I think Shane and Devon will have another meltdown or something will go south. Frank and Sam, I think, will actually take over Mel and Nicole just based on communication and Sam won't give up. She's even said that you might have to drag me, but I won't quit.
You just changed my mind.
Want is almost the same as you. Once again, just slightly switched. I want Frank and Sam to win because of everything you said.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind Adam and Steve winning because I like the idea of 5 elimination wins and winning the final.
Yeah.
That's a Sarah
Steve's
Grayson.
redemption.
It's Sarah Grayson. It once again, it puts you up there.
Yeah.
Then Shane and Nicole. Or Shane, then Nicole and Mel. You know what I mean? Those two teams. That's what I think. Money-wise, I'll just run through all of it just in case anybody wins. Adam, Steve, I don't think Steve steals money. I think Adam does. Shane, Devon, I think Shane does not steal. Devon does. Frank, Sam, I don't think either steals. Mel, Nicole, I think Nicole doesn't steal. Melissa would.
Hold on. You really think Devon would steal the money?
You're telling me as a single mother, you would let another man walk around?
I'm not committed to God.
I
am not committed to God.
She is not committed to Shane. She is committed to God. It is not necessarily stealing.
Get on her knees in the middle of the
I'm just saying,
of the arena and be like, God, please forgive me for what I'm about to do.
God forgives.
1,000%.
God forgives.
No.
That's what Christianity teaches.
1,000%. I don't think she would do it. She wouldn't do it because her daughter's watching. She's trying to set an example for her daughter. No, 1,000% she doesn't do it.
Set the example that no man is going to treat you like this ever. And if they do, this is what you do to them.
Besides the fact that Devon has ragged Ashley for what she did to Hunter. Like, there's no opportunity in my mind.
I didn't know that.
No opportunity in my mind that Devon would do this to anybody because she's petty, but she's not that petty.
Let me just have that was in my want list. That wasn't in my thing.
I'm sorry, but that one, I'm just like, the Adam, even the Adam one, I feel a little bit like, I feel like that one could go either way.
As petty as he is,
it could go either way, but I don't know that he would actually do it. Like, I do think he would have the thought and I do think he would but I don't know for sure if he would actually do it. Frank and Sam, absolutely not. Mel and Nicole, I don't really know, and honestly, I wouldn't care.
They're only getting $2,500 a piece, anyways.
I actually think Shane would be more likely to take the money than Devon would.
I don't think he wants that shade.
So fucking petty. Like,
he wants that attention.
Could you imagine the shade that man?
I don't think he will. I'm just saying. I think Shane would be more likely to do something like that. You know what I mean?
That man would have to move.
He would get shade. But he would also be one of just a couple.
Yeah,
Yep.
the most
is
evil
what he
people
loves.
on the challenge. He would have
Then
to
he's going to
move.
be on Traders. Then he's going to be on it. I mean, if he knows what he's doing, he probably
They'd
should.
put him on Traders with Devon.
Mhm.
He went out.
It's dead.
Oh,
We
well,
didn't charge it.
You know what that means?
Time to shut the show down? No.
Yep.
Our pen's dead. Okay, good night.
Next time on the
Everybody
podcast.
wins and everybody gets money and everybody
Yeah.
Look.
splits it with their partners.
I do want to say that that's my final thought on the night, and then we'll close this out. Is I think it's very important that they make sure everyone gets paid, and they've stopped this only first place gets money, because
Yeah.
once you do that and you open the door to let other contestants give money away, no offense to Tori and Devin giving $38,000
Or CT and Casey.
or CT and Casey. No shade to him, because I would probably do something similar, but that makes an uneven play in the game. And the first person to ever bring this up on the show was Miss Alexis Tex Rawson on her first guest appearance.
Yeah.
And I appreciate
Dang,
that,
how do you remember that?
because it's a fucking steel trap up here.
Nice. I don't remember shit.
That's okay. You don't have to remember, because these were closing thoughts. So, for myself, Ricky Hayes, my beautiful wife, Karina Hayes, for Alexis Tex / Piss on the Field Rawson, least you can do it in
You
pain,
said
and
you
your
weren't going
husband
to do that
can't.
anymore.
And Josh motherfucking Chambers, let's go. Thank you guys so much for choosing to listen to us break down episode 10 and 11 of the challenge, All Stars Rivals 5. If you like what you heard, I mean, you're already fucking almost 2 hours in. Just hit subscribe already and give us a like. It's a little thing for you, but a big thing for us. Just remember that.
Big.
Yeah, people helping people. It's a powerful thing. Anyways, love y'all. Good night.
See ya.
Peace.
Bye.
Salute American flag pants.
Motherfucker.
Surprise, motherfucker.